While late winter and early spring low temperatures keep most people out of the garden, as most plants keep dormant, there is one plant that thrives and uses this quieter time to establish deeper roots and show promising growth. That is garlic. In fact, you must plant garlic when most things are dying or getting ready to hibernate. Late fall is the right time to plant garlic here in Maryland. The cloves will grow secretly underground through the late year festivities, poking their heads out as the new year settles itself. Upon temperatures rising through March and April, garlic grows stout stems with radiating leaves, even as other plants struggle to establish themselves as tender seedlings. By this stage, you can usually have a sense of how successful your garlic harvest will be. Well-spaced, thicker stems, those thicker than a pencil at this stage, signify promising potential bulb development in just a couple more months. When the first June flowers carpeted the garden, I knew it was time to get my first garlic harvest. I got some green split peas in a pan, washed them, and let them cook in water for close to an hour until tender. Summer invites new fireflies, lighting in flickers the bosom of night. I was making a delicious recipe with my first garlic harvest. I wasn't about to uproot the plant to get the bulbs just yet. It was something else I was after, that I happened to value more than the garlic clove itself. For me, it's about in the beginning of June when the garlics start shooting their scapes, and you have to be vigilant because you don't want the plant actually to have the scape for too long because it will start putting up energy into that scape. You want to cut it as soon as possible. But you're not just wasting that. That's actually a harvest. It has amazing garlic flavor, and I would even say it has even a finer garlic flavor than the bulb itself. So I always look forward to garlic scape harvest time. The reason why I value the scapes more is just because they are rarer. They only grow once a year, and you would be hard-pressed to find it in grocery stores. The escapes are actually these curly-cued formations that are pretty neat looking, but don't be encouraged to actually leave them there because you think they're nice. You have to cut them, and the sooner you cut them, the more tender they will be, and the better it is for you to actually use them for something useful. Now, don't despair if your garlic doesn't form this, because this behavior is found in hardneck varieties, and if you plant softneck, it will not act this way. It will usually not create a scape, especially at the end like this. So just cut it, and then you can use it however you like. These scapes are not offered commercially, except maybe in the hippest of farmers markets in the Bay Area of San Francisco, and only briefly because they are highly seasonal. While garlic bulbs can be dried and stored, fresh garlic scapes don't keep for long. Since they only grow once a year for a brief period of time, and each hardneck garlic plant produces only one, they get to be enjoyed only by those who grow them. If you don't remove them, the bulb formation will be compromised. So I consider this the first garlic harvest of the year, and not a chore. They have a more delicate, less pungent, but more fragrant garlic flavor. They can certainly be enjoyed simply sautéed with some salt, but I like to incorporate them in my dishes. I think one of the advantages of garlic is that it grows well amongst other plants. Since they grow mostly during the barren months and hit maturity by midsummer when other plants need the elbow room, they don't compete much with things around them. They also don't cast much of a shadow because of their leaf structure. If you want to plant them, make sure to select a very sunny spot, your most sunny spot in fact. A good, well-draining, fertile soil is best and will ensure greater yields. Make sure to space them well, at least 3 to 4 inches from each other. I like to plant things a bit closer because of my limited sun-exposed space, but if you have the space, use it. This time I was making a garlic scape split pea soup. I let the peas simmer until completely tender, adding water as necessary. Then I dropped the garlic scapes cut into small pieces into the simmering soup and seasoned with salt to taste. balaio na mão, bate ao trava da porta, deixa a clausura abrir em fresta, feitiços. I don't add salt until the peas have fully cooked, because beans and peas can get tough if you add salt in the beginning. I added a dash of turmeric for color and let it cook for only a minute or two. Don't overcook the scapes so you don't lose the more subtle flavors. The soup was ready to be enjoyed. This is an extremely simple recipe, but it is the freshness of the star ingredient, garlic scapes, that make it shine. You can add a squeeze of lime to your bowl if you want to punch things up with acidity. Food doesn't have to be complicated if you have great ingredients. Coming up in the next block, I will share with you my garlic harvest right after this commercial. If you enjoy the videos and would like to support the channel, you can purchase an original painting or drawing in my Etsy shop, or become a patron in my Patreon. A few weeks after cutting the garlic scapes, the tip of the garlic leaves were starting to dry, a sure sign that it was time to pull up the bulbs. We just passed the summer solstice, and it's the right time to harvest the garlic. It's showing some signs, and all I need is a digging tool and some determination. The sign that you're looking for to harvest garlic, at least a hardneck variety, is when the tips of the leaves start to turn brown. Then you know it's the right time. I don't like to wait too long because the bulb can actually start to rot. And all I do is get a sharp implement or a little hand shovel, try to help pry it up. Well, I could just yank it. I feel it's less of a problem if I assist it getting off the ground with a tool, because the roots usually want to hang on. So I have my garlic, and you'll know that your garlic is growing well by the thickness of the stem. So you kind of have an idea of what kind of harvest you're going to get. The thicker the stems, the better harvest you're going to get. I had planted a smaller hardneck garlic variety, so while my bulb looked small when compared to regular softneck grocery store garlic, they were well developed for their variety. I had grown the garlic initially from bulbs I had purchased in an organic market several years ago, but these right here were the result of the tiny bulbils I had planted about 3 years ago from a few garlic scapes I had allowed to flower. I showed this in a previous video. They took about 2 years to develop into a decent sized single clove, or what is called a round. So late last year I uprooted them and spaced them out correctly to develop into garlic heads. This variety usually develops heads with 4 cloves inside. While this variety is smaller than common garlic typically imported from China, I've noticed they have a much more pungent flavor, so a little bit goes a long way. I like to grow my garlic in different spots each year as a way to prevent possible pathogens from attacking it. Garlic can be destroyed by nematodes that live in the soil. These are microscopic worms that dig into plant tissues and cause the plant's health to degrade. If you rotate your crops, you can confuse pests a bit, since many pests are host-specific, attacking only a specific species or family of plants. Marigolds are known to have nematocidal compounds. It is believed that nematodes may infect the marigolds and then die inside. If that is the case, it is best to have the marigolds growing for several months in the spot, cutting them and subsequently planting our desired crop in the same location. This may be a strategy to look into. It may work especially well for garlic since it is planted in the fall after marigolds naturally die. Of course, it may depend on the type of nematode and the variety of marigold, but more conclusive research will need to be done. All in all, I was really happy with my garlic harvest. I would hang it up to dry to use it in cooking and save a few to plant again come fall.